This is Super Yacht News. In association with Go Earth, navigating boat buyers to better deals. Hi, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a Friday Super Yacht News video. We're going to go straight into a story from Turkey. This was sent in to us by a subscriber who knew somebody on board. I think it was a relative of his or hers. This happened this morning in Bodrum in Turkey. And the person who sent it to us wasn't sure. We've seen some other reports which seem to gel with the story that we've been given. So it looks like it's the same vessel. Sailing vessel, like a tourist pleasure vessel. There was a fire on board, as you can see in the video footage here. Believed to start in the engine room. You know, most fires start in the engine room. There were around 7 people on board, tourists, with 3 crew, we believe. Now, the people on board, this is from our contributor who sent the video. He said that there were people on board from different countries, including Poland and South Africa, I believe, and I think the Netherlands as well. And one of the things that's interesting about this is that he sent me a 3-minute video, or three and a half minute video, and it really shows how quickly fires spread. Now, at the beginning of the video, the fire is it's well established inside the vessel, but there's not an awful lot of smoke. And by the end of the video, you can see, I'm not going to play obviously a whole 3 minutes just so you can see the progression, but you can see how fast, just a couple of minutes later, the whole vessel is engulfed in flames. Quite incredible, really. This is one of the things that we in the industry, or any ships, not just yachts, but commercial vessels, everything. We have fire teams on board, and we train all the time for this kind of event. Obviously, this is only a small pleasure vessel, but on actual larger yachts and ships, and cruise ships and chemical tankers and container ships, we have fire teams. The crew are made up into fire teams, and we practice all the time. And one of the things we practice is how fast we can get ready for a fire, so because we know how quickly they spread, and this video is a really good example of that. That's all the information we have right now. The fact that it happened in Bodrum, it happened this morning. People on small pleasure boats that were passing by, everybody came in to try and help people off, and then eventually the Coast Guard turned up and took people away, and there was another vessel involved in the rescue as well, I believe. So hopefully we'll hear some updates, and hopefully those people will be okay. Now we'll move on to our next story. Now, in the last video, we did a story about motor yacht Attila running aground in Spain. The vessel left the port of Ibiza and headed down to an area which is popular with yachts and pleasure vessels. And one of the things I said in that video, by the way, I just want to make a correction, is that I said that the vessel hit a sandbank, well-charted sandbank. In actual fact, it's not a sandbank at all. It's actually rocks. And interestingly, but unfortunately, in my navigation chart, it was corrupted. The text was corrupted, so I couldn't read it properly, which I'll show you. But it actually says on the chart piedra seca, which is Spanish for dry rocks. So I missed that the first time round. Someone pointed it out in the comments. And then I went back and looked, and yeah, of course, they were right. And a couple of people said that they navigate down there often, and usually it's small boats that hit this, not usually super yachts. Anyway, that's the correction I wanted to make, but that's not the reason why I brought it up again. The vessel has been detained in the port of Ibiza. It's got a seal on the side of the vessel, which basically says that the vessel is sealed, and people are not allowed to come and go unless they've been allowed to go on board by the Capitanery. Now, it took us a while to try and figure out what was going on here. We've got some footage here from someone who wishes to remain anonymous. You can see the Capitanery's vehicle is there on the quayside, and there's a seal on the yacht, and the yacht has been detained. That means it's been detained. Now, what we've discovered is what happened is the authorities confirmed that the incident, well, first of all, the incident did not result in any pollution or damage to the area's protected sites, including the seagrass area that I mentioned in the previous video. But the Maritime Authority of Ibiza and Formentera, under the General Directorate of the Merchant Marine, ordered the vessel to be detained, ordered the yacht to be detained, citing dangerous navigation near the coast. The authority had ordered the yacht to have a refloating plan drawn up and to have a hull inspection before they move the vessel off the rocks. And the reason why you do that is because, obviously it's like when you get a nail in your tire and you pull the nail out and the tire goes flat, right? So the same thing with the yacht. You don't want to have, you don't want to back the yacht off the rocks and then find out there's a hole and then whatever it is that's inside starts coming out, or something starts going in. So like seawater goes in or fuel comes out, more, worst case scenario. So they said to them, you need a floating plan and you need to have a hull inspection. But the owner of the vessel apparently ignored that, and he had the vessel removed. A towed vessel went down there to remove them, but he just ignored the orders from the port. And when the vessel got back to the port of Ibiza, they were basically detained there. And it says that the ship owner ignored, this is from a vessel tracker, by the way, the ship owner ignored these instructions and removed the ship without the required safety measures, such as the approval of the international insurance company or the performance of an underwater inspection to check if the hull was damaged. The site report that a penalty will be imposed for failing to comply with official orders. Salvamar Naus, Neos, a maritime search and rescue vessel, was deployed on the 2nd of July to assist in the refloating process. And the yacht eventually freed itself around 11 a.m. using its own auxiliary boats and minor towing maneuvers aided by a rising tide. Now, like I said, the vessel proceeded to Marina Ibiza under the instruction of the harbour master, and the yacht is scheduled to undergo an inspection, a standard safety review for foreign flagged vessels conducted by the Maritime Authority officials. And there was a report from a local outlet stating that these types of incidents, increasingly common, highlight the need for caution, adherence to maritime regulations, and the technical competence of crews navigating these waters. So there you go. So the vessel is detained until further notice. I've got one other story before I go here. Motor yacht Victoria. This yacht has left Russia, a place in Russia called Attila in Russia, and it's heading west towards the Bosphorus Straits. And the reason why this is interesting, it's a Russian flagged super yacht. It's a $50 million yacht, and this vessel has been linked to Vladimir Putin on more than one occasion. There are a number of reports out there linking this vessel to him. It's been seen at anchor off the coast of that giant palace thing that he denies that he owns. It's been there. He's never been photographed on board, but it's been linked to him in multiple ways. The money has been traced by certain groups that say that the money is being gathered in the same way it has for other things that, So let me give you an example of what, obviously, you're not going to find a logbook with Vladimir Putin's name on it, but what they do is they route money through certain ways, and then they get people who he knew from his childhood, and they're listed as the owners and things like that. So that's the common thing for yachts linked to Vladimir Putin. The vessel's a 70-meter yacht, 232 foot, and it was built by a company in Russia that builds nuclear submarines. So not your normal yacht building company. And it took 14 years to build this yacht, which is very unusual. Obviously, a yacht of this size is, like I said, 70 meter, 230 feet. Normally take 3 to 5 years to build in a yacht. Like if Lurson built it or someone like that, 3 to 5 years. But it took 14 years to build this one. Now, another identifier of this vessel is the big giant V on the back. Now, this is popular with the Russians to use this on some of their vehicles. I know they use a Z also, but they use a V as well. That's very popular at the moment in the war in Ukraine. And also a crew manifest has been seen, and a lot of the people who work on board are from Russian intelligence, which is very similar to another vessel. You remember this? Remember, if you haven't seen it, I'll put a link. The video that we did about Scheherazade, same thing. FSB were working on board a full Russian crew, and this vessel's the same. It's got the people from Russian intelligence working on board. Now, the yacht has listed on AIS a destination in Croatia. I find it very unlikely that yacht is going to head to Croatia. I would imagine it will most likely spend its time in Turkey, which are, you know, a lot of Russian yachts are hanging around in Turkey, and they have been since 2022. Some of the owners of those Russian yachts have even bought property in Turkey as well. And Abramovich is talking about building a yacht marina in Turkey as well. So yeah, there's a lot of Russians in Turkey at this moment. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. I've got my road trip t-shirt on. I've got a video coming out on Sunday on my other channel. If you don't know about my other channel, it's called eSysman Tech. It was originally meant to be a channel where I was going to do technical reviews on equipment, but it ended up being a road trip channel or a car channel. Maybe I'll change the name someday. Anyway, I'll put a link in below. I think there's always a link below actually in every video, but I've got a video coming out on Sunday about the road trip, the 3,000 kilometer or 1,850 mile road trip that I did on my own from Sicily back to the UK through the entire length of Italy and France and back up to the UK. The mountains and stuff, oh man, it's so gorgeous. Yes, it is super hot. It says all of the temperatures say it's 30 degrees, but it feels hotter than that to me. But, you know, but anyway, I've got 5 kilometers to go, and my car says 0 range. But I'm in these tunnels, there's nowhere to stop, so, oh shit. That's coming out on Sunday on my other channel. I'll post a link below so you can go and watch that, check it out. That's why I'm wearing my road trip t-shirt. So, and be sure to like and subscribe and all that jazz. And if you've got anything for us, any stories, any videos or anything like that, I know we didn't do a yacht spot today, but we do it on Monday. So if you want to send anything through, there's a link in the ticker here. It's also in the description of this video. All right, guys, thanks very much. Have a great weekend, whatever you're doing, and I'll catch up with you soon. Bye-bye.